Good evening, everyone, and welcome here to Avaya Stadium as there is the whistle, and we are underway here for the U.S. Open Cup between the San Jose Earthquakes and the visiting San Francisco Deltas here tonight at Avaya Stadium. A lovely night here in San Jose. Ted Ramey with you. If you'd like to get in on the conversation, I'm always happy to hear from anyone that wants to get in. Get me on Twitter at Ted Ramey Media, as the Earthquakes do handle things all the way back to Andrew Tarbell, of course, seeing his first action for the San Jose Earthquakes here in the 2017 campaign. They'll play one long, and it'll be the San Francisco getting in front of that. It was actually Adekora who got a feel for it, and then now it's going to be Jackson Ewell, a name that many Earthquakes fans have been waiting to talk about. Of course, the Earthquakes' first-round selection out of UCLA, box-to-box midfielder. Earthquakes running an interesting lineup here tonight in the vein of a 3-5-2. We'll talk about that in just a minute, as this one is knocked around that back line and advanced to Ewell before it's played back to Imperiale and crossed just right of the circle to Youngworth. Now you see Lima out there in this 3-5-2 formation. He is in more of a wing back formation, and we know that he can get forward in the attack, so I think it'll be curious to see how he plays in that position as this match continues. San Jose Earthquakes, of course, trying to figure out their roster in light of many injuries and many international absences, and put this one together as we have a ball advanced to Chris Wondolowski. Flag up. He is well offside, but you appreciate the aggression. Now Sayos is going to handle this one after the flag. Starting lineup for the San Francisco Deltas. Of course, they are in their inaugural season of play. Stuart Sayos, the man between the sticks. Back line of Reina Ferreira, Jackson, Kenny Taisa, Nana Adekora. Of course, many of you remember him from his time with the Earthquakes, as this ball is advanced to Heineman. He can't control that. Played to Victor. Up to Husin. And now he'll swing this out to the outside where he's going to run it down. Watched by Taisa. Here is Husin, puts one in for Wondolowski, can't turn on it, plays it back on top. Husin can't stay with it, cleared away, but a whistle's going to come in, and this will give the Earthquakes a free kick. As I was saying, the starting lineup for the San Francisco Deltas: Tyler Gibson, Kyle Becker, Christian Portilla, Thomas Heineman, Michael Stevens, Danny Cruz. As Husin gets set for a free kick for San Jose. Of course, Husin recently breaking through with his first goal in MLS regular season play for San Jose. Here's Husin. He gives it a ride right into the wall, and then it's going to be Ewell who knocks it in off the rebound and gives San Jose the 1-0 lead. So it does not take Jackson Ewell long before he puts San Jose on the board in his first appearance for the San Jose Earthquakes. 1-0 San Jose. Well, that did not take long, folks. 4th minute goal. The product from UCLA giving San Jose the lead. I didn't even have time to get through these starting lineups.
Earthquakes goal in the 4th minute. That's his first professional career goal by number 14.
As you can hear Danny Miller in the background, our PA announcer, again hammering home the fact that is his first professional goal. As this one's flicked to the back line, but not before a whistle comes in. That was going to lead to a throw now for San Jose. Quickly into Youngworth. And this one kind of deflected around that middle third, bouncing to the control of San Francisco. And then played on forward out on the left wing. This is going to be past everyone, and Victor is going to wisely let this play over the back line. And that'll be a goal kick now for Tarbell and San Jose. Now for San Jose, Tarbell, of course, getting a nice, rare for him start. Of course, he only was able to take over in the second half last year of a game in Columbus for David Bingham, when David Bingham went down with back spasms. And now here's one run down on the left-hand side. That is going to be Heineman, who's going to be watched by Bernardez. Heineman plays this over to the right-hand side, switching the point of the attack. Becker. And then it's Jackson who comes up to pick things up, and his entry pass is deflected and pushed out of play by Thompson. Then it'll be a throw now for the Deltas. Jackson quickly into Stevens. Gets it back. And Jackson doing his darndest to keep that one in play. Ranging to his left, now trying to put one in out there on the right side of the area. That one knocked around and picked up by the Earthquakes. Imperiale with the left-footed clearance out to the center circle where Huson meets Heineman. Wando, right wing now over to Cordell Cato, and then it's going to be Huson on the break into the 18. Tries to put it in front. There's Cato, the shot, the rebound, the goal! 2-0 San Jose here in the 6th minute. And this is exactly the type of start San Jose wanted here on this evening. 2-0, Cordell Cato picking up the rebound to knock that one home. And San Jose feeling good early here in this match.
ErathQuakes goal scored in the 6th minute by number 7, Cordell Cato.
Heineman's going to play that back to Portilla. And then it's Ferreira getting a touch on this one. Ferreira, Brazilian. And a look out to the left-hand side. And all the way back towards that back line. So why don't I, now that we are into the 7th minute, tell you a little bit more about the Earthquakes starting lineup. As I was saying, Andrew Tarbell, man between the sticks for San Jose. As a foul was called against San Jose. Back line of Bernardez, Imperiale, and Youngworth. And then 5 in the midfield, Lima, Ewell, Thompson, Cato, and Dawkins. And then up top, it's Huson and Wondolowski. And as the Deltas try to switch the point of the attack, and that pass is interrupted by Tommy Thompson and driven up towards the circle where Huson and Florian Youngworth clean things up. And Thompson plays it safe and goes to his rear where he's got Bernardez and Florian Youngworth. Florian Youngworth, of course, very much a high-energy, spirited player for the San Jose Earthquakes, has taken over in somewhat of a leadership role, even if he is not wearing the C and wearing the armband. But he is definitely out there pumping guys up, always talking, always clapping guys up. It's interesting to watch his dynamic since he has made his way here into San Jose. As Portilla puts this out on the left-hand side. Entry pass just on the edge of the attacking third. Sees Heineman go spinning to the deck, and they will call foul. This will be a free kick now for the Deltas. 9th minute here at Avaya Stadium. An absolutely beautiful night here in the South Bay. Of course, we are just 1 week away from roughly the longest day of sunlight in the year, and it's still quite sunny. Well, fortunately, that sunlight is not finding its way into the eyes of either of our keepers here. I'm sure many of you can remember quite a few games at Buckshaw that would see one of the keepers for either team wearing a cap, efforting to keep the sun out of their eyes. As we get set from the free kick from San Francisco. Here's a drive and right into the waiting hands of Andrew Tarbell. So this one remains in favor of San Jose. 2-0 here in the 10th minute. Tarbell up to Thompson. And Imperiale will shoot one up the center of the pitch. Trapped off the chest of Wondolowski and pushed to his left to Huson. Huson working to the inside, putting one in to the 6, but that's going to be taken off a bounce and handled by San Francisco. It's up to Becker and pushed to the outside. And that pass is going to be picked up by Lima. He's advancing on the attack once again. He wanted to get it to Wondolowski, but that's going to be spit to the outside. Cato, Wando, through traffic, edge of the area, crossed for Huson. Adekora is going to step in front of that one over the end line, and that's going to be a corner now for San Jose here in the 10th minute. And that's Tommy Thompson making his way over on the service for San Jose. Of course, he is another individual on these San Jose Earthquakes that's broken through finally. Of course, this is his 4th season with the San Jose Earthquakes. But he does now have 2 assists on the year in regular season MLS play. Here's Thompson looking back post, but that one's going to swing out wide. Youngworth will run it down. And all the way back to Lima. And then there's going to be Becker putting the pressure on Bernardez. And the smart play here looks like it's going to be Cato. I thought he was going to give it back to Tarbell and they were going to play it long, but they're still swinging this along that back line. And Ewell with a couple of touches. And this is an interesting point here for San Jose Earthquakes fans to really get a look at Jackson Ewell. And I actually had some interesting perspective on Ewell as my brother, who does play-by-play work for UCLA, was able to call quite a few games and watch Jackson Ewell up close and personal during his collegiate career. And so I asked my brother John, I said, well, what do you think of this guy, Jackson Ewell? You're the one who got to see him up close and personal. He said, Ted, you're going to like this dude when he's ready. And when the Earthquakes do determine him to be ready, he is going to make things happen. And we've already seen that very quickly here tonight as he takes the throw and plays it back out to Dawkins. Wando couldn't handle the pass. There was a little bit too much heat on it. Adekora has it now and plays it to the back line where it's picked up by Ferreira. Wando and Houston pressuring, and that one will go all the way back towards Sayus. Cleared away. Bernardez stepping in front of it. And Ewell fighting for that one with Gibson and eventually picked up by Dawkins. Earthquakes controlling the possession so far early in this match. Again, 13th minute. They are up 2-0. Goals from Jackson Ewell as well as Cordell Cato. Imperiale has not been able to see any regular season time as a foul comes in favor of San Jose. So we're getting to see him out there tonight. And they are going to say that Imperiale moved a little bit too quickly on that. So we'll reset and do this over. I could see Imperiale having a little bit of adrenaline working in his favor as he is able to go out there once again and, well, simply play. And the Earthquakes have been in positions to where they have not gone to the defensive subs, and they've been looking for offense late in games as the challenge is won by San Francisco and controlled by Portilla. And he'll look for a long diagonal for Cruz left of the 18, but that's going to be too far out in front of him over the byline, and now a goal kick for San Jose. As I said, by all means, if you'd like to reach me on Twitter, at Ted Ramey Media, look for the bald guy staring up at the corner of the picture. That is me. Tarbell looking to distribute from the back and putting his big right boot to work. Cordell Cato flicking it over the top but unable to maintain the possession as Lima, Bernardez, and Youngworth try to keep this alive for San Jose. It'll deflect back to Lima. Up to Wondolowski. Traps it off a couple of bounces, and it's put forward to Houston. He is offside, and that's going to be back to San Francisco. Andrew asks, do you think Wando will eventually become the all-time leading MLS goal scorer, and if so, when? I do. I think it'll happen sometime towards the end of next season. And I am just hoping that there is nothing calamitous that keeps me from being able to do my darndest and make a great call as Wondolowski would hopefully ascend into immortality if he hasn't already. I mean, that's the thing is when you talk about these records is, yes, Wondolowski, if he was able to break the record, he would be the greatest in history. But I think even if he were to suffer some career-ending injury before that, I think you'd obviously be looking at a guy, as we talked about, as one of the all-time, just great goal scorers in the history of Major League Soccer. I mean, he doesn't climb this high on the list unless he has that ability and has that right to say so about him in the first place. And, just watching him over the course of his career, and especially the way he's done it, where he had a later development. You go back to 2010 and watch his sudden ascension and the way he came on just so very, very quickly. And it was just very fun to watch. All of a sudden, Wondolowski became a household name as Tommy Thompson tries to get greedy and thread the needle and turns it over. Jackson advancing this one up the center of the pitch. Found Gibson. Back to Portilla and Ferreira. And then Tyso with the touch now. Advancing it, looking for Heineman. Youngworth and a couple other Quakes interrupting that, but this one's taken away. And it's advanced by Danny Cruz, challenged by Imperiale. And Cruz goes down, gets a late whistle, and he'll do well to sell that. And this will be a free kick now for San Francisco. But yes, watching Chris Wondolowski's ascent towards the top of Major League Soccer's goal-scoring list, you can't help but be excited for that and hope that he is able to do it before his career is done. But the thing with Wondolowski, he's in such good shape. He stays healthy, and no matter what, it always seems like he's in the right place at the right time. And that instinct of his is simply not going away. And I know he's talked about it several times in the way he thinks through what he's going to do. And, he's the kind of guy who, even when I'm calling a game, can absolutely disappear at any instant. I don't mean that he leaves the game. I just mean he will find a way to disappear in a crowd, and then he'll pop up, usually on that near post run, and is there to hammer it home, whether it's on a rebound or something else. Free kick coming for San Francisco. Quakes leading 2-0, 17th minute here in the 101 derby. It is going to be Portilla with a blast. Too much on that, goes over the bar and into the fault line. And it's going to be a goal kick for San Jose. Steve Eisner comes in. He says, Ted, could you announce the substitutes for both teams? Sure, Alex Mangles, your backup goalkeeper. Obviously, if you don't know, a Lafayette product, and also went to Cal. Greg Jordan, Andrew Luban, Brian Burke, Patrick Hopkins, Devin Sandoval, Carl Ouimet. That is the bench for the Deltas. For San Jose, as one's played back to Imperiale and cleared away from the danger zone. Jamir Hika. Backup goalkeeper is Matt Bersano. Shea Salinas called up from the USL ranks. Thomas Janjigian, as well as David Bingham. As Tommy Thompson plays a conservative all the way back to Tarbell. Mike asks, any commentary on the potential of this rivalry? Does the founding of the SF Deltas irk the Quakes or threaten their fan base? I mean, I don't think it does. I think that, and like most fans around here, I think they'd be excited for a rivalry. I mean, there's been so much hubbub with what's gone on with Sacramento Republic and the way that bid for MLS kind of got interrupted, that, you would hope that there would be some sort of an NorCal rivalry. I would certainly welcome it. I mean, the Quakes do a good job of selling this place out for regular season play, and it's been very, very fun. And I think that everybody around here likes the idea of having the rivalry. And I know that I personally, when the Deltas came onto the scene and I was able to go out to some of their opening events and meet the people, it just seemed, hey, if there's more soccer in the Bay Area, this is good for everyone. This is good for soccer fans everywhere because the community supports it. And if the community is supporting it, if the desire is there, this will lead to success for all parties involved. So I think it is. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool, honestly. I like what we're seeing here in the growth, and I think the Deltas are doing a very good job so far. Jackson off the throw-in, up to Heineman, advancing that one to Stevens, who puts it out on the right-hand side for Heineman, and then Thompson comes sliding in to knock it out of play. Last touched by the Deltas, as Tommy challenges Tommy there. And now it's a throw-in for San Jose. TJ asks, how do you rate Tommy Thompson? Is he MLS ready? Yes, I think most definitely Tommy Thompson is MLS ready. I mean, he's broken through with 2 assists as of late. His play has been stronger and stronger, and I think that, he was so young when he entered the league in 18, and even now he's barely of drinking age as a pass intended for Danny Houston gets picked up by Adekora and handles this along the back line for the Deltas, and Jackson gives us a clearance. And that's going to be watched over the shoulder of Imperiale and handled by Tarbell. But I think that Tommy Thompson, he was so very, very young when he started. And I think that over the past 2 years in particular, we saw growth from him in the last third of last season. He put weight on, he got thicker, and this year he's being more direct. He's not trying to get as cute. I mean, I understand that when you have the juggling and handling abilities that Tommy Thompson has, you want to put those to work, but I think he's had to eliminate those from his game to an extent and just finds that he needs to play it more direct. And also, I think he used to rush things a little bit, and now he's being a little bit more patient as Tyus puts one into the 18, but Bernardez is there to knock it clear, and Ewell picks it up to Wondolowski and Dawkins. Ewell again getting a touch on it, and it's played to the left-hand side, and Thompson back to Tarbell. But I think that you do look at a guy like Tommy Thompson, and you've just seen him now, again, barely of drinking age. Now he is able to just have that, a little bit more physicality, a little bit more calm to himself when he's playing out there. I mean, he used to try and make things happen so quickly. Before he even had a quality first touch, he'd be trying to spin on a ball and make a great pass, and sometimes he would, and sometimes he wouldn't, and it would look like a sloppy turnover. Here's a ball to Becker into the 18, the shot, and the save by Tarbell, who gets just a hand on it, playing it over the back line, but that's going to be a corner now for San Francisco here in the 21st minute. So it'll be Becker on the service there, but with Thompson, it's a matter of him simply calming down, staying level in the moment, and I think that particularly in the first half of this year, we've seen even more of that growth. He did break through with the 2 assists, and that's just the thing that I watch him now. So much more calm, even compared to where he was at this point last year. Here's back post from Becker, looking from Jackson. That's going to be over the end line and back to San Jose. Thomas Ortega asks if I can give my thoughts on the 3-man backing for San Jose. It's interesting, and the idea that I was told was that you were kind of looking at Lima and Cato as wingbacks, but that's kind of not how it's turning into, as you are seeing Florian play ahead in a little bit more of that natural midfield position. But with Lima getting forward on the attack, it's always really fun to watch because he's so fast. He's deceptively fast. And I think we all got a look at that as we do have a man down for San Jose. Youngworth a little slow to get to his feet as this one ricochets to the outside and to the feet of Tommy Thompson and puts it back at the banged-up man in Youngworth, who looks like it's his shoulder. Didn't look too comfortable there. Ewell keeping this in the possession of San Jose. Bernardez. And Lima, Dawkins. But Lima has skill all over the place. I mean, that's the thing, is you saw the speed. We all remember when he flashed it running down Kakuta Mane in that second game as Tommy Thompson looks to put it into Ewell. That pass is knocked around and picked up eventually by Stevens. Plays it to his right in Jackson. He's advancing this up the right-hand side, looks to go in, and Tommy Thompson cuts that off, finding Dawkins. Cato, pressured from behind, turns it over, and Tyus gets fouled. And Dawkins wants to complain, but I think he knows he's a little guilty there as Tyus is going to sell it and a little slow to get up. And a yellow is going to come in on Dawkins. So he'll be booked here in the 24th minute.
Yellow card issued to the ErathQuakes.
The question from Thomas continues, said anything regarding the lineup? No, I didn't really didn't really hear much on it. The lineup came up and they said this is what it was, and we kind of looked at it, and some of us talked about it and saw what they had, kind of been doing in pregame warmups, and heard the idea was to have Cato and Lima as wingbackers, but that's not what it's turned into, obviously, as Youngworth is going to run one down, right side of the 18, turn on it and clear it, but not very far out of play, but we'll go to San Jose. Lima finding Wondolowski. I had a chance to talk to Nick Lima earlier this week as the ball is turned over. Cruz making a play on it. Lima able to clear it up the right-hand side, and Houston wanting to make a play on that as we'll get a whistle. Flag comes up. Well, Lima talked about the players who got to come up from the Dragons and play with San Jose and practice in these last couple of weeks, and I asked him, what that experience was like for him now being on the other side of it, and he said that he had remembered that he too was a 15-year-old who had been up there playing for the first team, and he regaled me with a story of how he had tried to backpedal and immediately just ate it. And which I think is that's pretty much how I think we all expect it would be if you're so juiced and you're just jazzed and you're up there and you're ready to practice and try and impress the first team, and then you do a back pedal and then you just eat it. Because of course, how else could that really go down for a 15-year-old kid? Good hustle from Tommy Thompson to save that. But the Earthquakes not doing a good job of getting it out of their own end. Becker coming in on it. But he'll be challenged by Ewell, who does a good job to force the turnover. Bernardez and Tarbell. Sayus will play this out to his left, and Ferreira. Again, this Delta's squad, even though they are staring at a 2-goal deficit right now, they have MLS and international talent all over their roster, and I was very pleased to see the talent they had when they put it all together. Here's Stevens looking back post. He puts one in. It'll be handled, the shot and the save, but Tarbell, I'm not sure if he got just a hand on that. I thought he may have touched it, and they're going to say that he did. So that is a corner now for the Deltas. But this Deltas roster, they can score on you in a hurry. If you have a chance to go watch some of the highlights, Kyle Becker's 2 goals last weekend. Rockets off the left foot, absolutely fantastic. As now we are looking at another corner from San Francisco. Tarbell, a couple steps off his line, closer to the near post. 27th minute, 2-0 San Jose. Back post punched away by Tarbell. And Dawkins will run that down. And Lima will give that a ride, but it only gets so far. Kept in. But the flag will come up. And this is going to be back to San Jose. Adam asks, does Wondolowski still have a future with the national team? It's a good question. And personally, I don't mind seeing Chris Wondolowski get some of the rest when he's not with the team. But at the same time, I know that many players have talked about the fact that at training for the men's national team, they can count on Chris Wondolowski to be a tone setter, to be a guy that works harder than just about anybody else out there and really, demands more of the other players that are out there involved in that camp. And so I think there's quality in having that guy around. But, in terms of how you would use him on that roster, you need him at situations late in games where you need someone to, poach and finish and get that goal. I mean, he's not the guy with the speed and the demands on defense as well that really you're going to want to start at this point. But it is, Chris Wondolowski is a goal scorer of the purest form, and that's what it all comes down to. As Wondolowski advances this up the center of the pitch, plays it out to his left, and Huson steps up, flicks one into the 18 for Thompson, but that'll be knocked clear of him. And Jackson races this up the touchline, out of play. This will go back to San Jose. And good awareness there by Stevens, keeping that ball away from Thompson. Imperiale on the throw for San Jose. Dawkins trapped off his abdomen, played back outside. Imperiale sees his pass deflected and picked up by Tommy Thompson, who's going to go wide towards the byline, gets tripped up. Nice tackle there, out of play, last touch by Thompson. It's going to be back now to the Deltas. So the Brazilian now on the throw, 29 years old. 1 goal and 1 assist in all competitions for the Deltas in 2017. Imperiale tried to thread the needle to Wondolowski, and now here's one for Heineman. He's going to try and run this down, but it's a race with Tarbell. He comes flying out and knocks it out of play with a conservative route, but likely safe as he rushes back to his 6. And now we've got a couple of balls out there on the pitch. And we'll see another throw from Jackson. Stevens, Heineman, Jackson. Back post, looking for a header. No one's there to gather it up. Portilla has it now, wants to play it off the volley, but it's knocked away by Youngworth. And now Youngworth leading the charge in the other direction for San Jose. Youngworth, center of the pitch, plays it out to his right, and Cordell Cato. Cato on top of the 18, wanted to find Husin, but that pass is picked off and now taken in the other direction by Ferreira. And here comes San Francisco. The pass from Heineman back to Becker. Sees a foul come in, and this is going to be now a free kick for the Deltas. Get a question from Drain Your Heart. He says, have I thought any more on lower division clubs knocking out MLS teams in the Open Cup, changing the way that we look at those clubs? Listen, I mean, I think there is an unbelievable amount of talent at a lot of levels in the U.S. Open Cup, and we even saw DC get a scare from essentially a team that was sponsored by a local liquor store the other night. But the fact of the matter is, some of these MLS clubs, they're not all playing their full starting lineups. But I think the fact that you do have the competition just speaks to the overall growing, level of play here in the United States, and that athletes from other countries and American athletes who are trying to find jobs and playing in the NASL and USL, and maybe they were drafted by Major League Soccer and just have kind of bounced around a little bit. There is a great deal of talent. And the thing is these rosters are being filled. And I think the fact that more and more people are trying to get in on these teams, it shows they're money-making entities. There's business properties that want to get involved with it, as Heineman does get back up onto his feet slowly and looks a little bit ginger as he'll walk off. But I think that, that the demand to me is what speaks most loudly. And in this situation, I'm not looking at, who's upsetting who or who's beating who to the same extent as I am that, there's a high level of soccer being played at various levels. Obviously, in the American landscape, Major League Soccer is the highest, but that doesn't mean that you should look down on any of the other leagues, because there's great players at all levels. I mean, if you've seen the guys that have come up with Minnesota, you watch those guys and you say, hey, these guys were doing it at a lower level. Now they're still getting it done in Major League Soccer. Again, this speaks to me more to the overall talent than I would have to say about where one team and one level really ranks versus the other in upsets. I think on any given day, you can have any result. As here's one played over the bar, back into the standing section. But it's encouraging to me, because I can only have the perspective of it of somebody that was born in 1982. And in my lifetime, I have seen the popularity of soccer grow and grow and grow and grow. And I remember 12 years old seeing the World Cup games played at Stanford. And then you look at the growth of big international teams coming in and playing at the big stadiums here in the Bay Area, and the San Jose ErathQuakes coming back and growing in popularity. And I mean, it's been a wild ride. And I think that that's why you do see the success of NASL and USL teams, and the fact that their talent is moving forward. And we're seeing more kind of not a clearly tiered system, but it's trending in that direction. Wando, throw in Cato, that one parried away by Ferreira. And it'll be knocked out of play. It'll be another throw for San Jose. But ultimately, when I do watch any club, upset a Major League Soccer team, I'm encouraged by that. And I think all these teams should be taken quite seriously. ErathQuakes switching the point of the attack to Lima. And Bernardez says, nope, I'll play this back to Tarbs. Imperiale's pass challenged but collected by Yule. Yule up the center of the pitch, wanted to find Husin, but it's going to be Ferreira stepping in front of that one and now bringing it up on the left wing for San Francisco. He gets a little bit overzealous with his pass. Lima runs it down and plays it to Tarbell. And he'll float one just outside the middle third. And now everybody wants to get ahead on it. Becker the latest. Portilla up to Stevens. And he's dispossessed, but not before a whistle. And this will go back to the Deltas. So again, we're in the 35th minute here at Avaya Stadium. The San Jose Earthquakes leading 2-0 off of two early goals from Jackson Ewell and Cordell Cato. Portilla getting set for the free kick. '29-year-old Spaniard putting one into the 18, headed away. And it'll be played right back out to Portilla. Another ball in. Straight up into the air. Youngworth getting a couple foreheads on that, but a whistle's going to come in, and this is back to San Jose. Again, if you want to get in, at Ted Ramey Media. Imperiale finding an onside Huson. Huson slows it down, takes it with his right foot, couple of step overs, goes left foot, crossed. It's just behind a crashing Dawkins. Nice footwork from Huson. But I think he just lost a little bit control of that and put it behind Dawkins. Good effort. Poor finish. Now here's Stevens. Many of you remember from his time with the LA Galaxy. 16th overall selection in the 2010 Major League Soccer Super Draft. His entry pass deflected. Becker challenges. It's played out to Huson, and then Stevens comes back to rescue it. Atone for his sin. Gives it to Ferreira. And then Tyson decides to play this all the way back to Cius. Ferreira, Tyus, Cruz. Loose ball. Cato comes up with it. And it's back to Bernardez and the control of San Jose. The Argentinian Imperiale advancing it on the left wing to Tommy Thompson. Slows his roll. Inside now, Simon Dawkins. And he'll back this up. Earthquakes try again from the left-hand side. And then through Simon Dawkins, they'll go to the right. Again, the Earthquakes flirting with this 3-5-2 as here's the ball out on the left wing for Huson. Can't stay with it. Adekora comes flying in from behind and knock it clear, but then Thompson comes up to pick it up, spins around, gets knocked down, doesn't get the whistle, still stays with it, goes back on top to Youngworth. Now it's Huson, left of the 18. And we will get a flag and a whistle. Looks like Huson still having a bit of a conversation. Cius comes in. Garrett asks if I have any thoughts on the new president or new DP situation as Becker picks one up and plays this out to the left-hand side into the 18. The shot and the save from Tarbell. And now that ball's still loose in the 18. Here's Becker with the blast, and it's going to be wide. As Garrett was asking, any thoughts on the new president and current DP situation? Well, I think that Mr. Fox seems like a very interesting individual. Admittedly, I have not had a great amount of time to really talk to him that much yet. That will happen over time. I know that after we had that introductory press conference last week that he had to go back to England to take care of some affairs. And I don't know what his current timeline is, and I would imagine that moving anywhere is hard enough when you're doing it involving continents, time zones, passports. That's got to be Even if you are an American citizen, that's got to be trying, to say the least. But I think he's a smart individual. Here's a turnover in favor of San Jose. Houston getting loose, but he's got to slow things down. Puts it to the inside of Youngberth, who advances it to Wondolowski, left to the 18. He sees Dawkins, but that one's going to be swatted away by Adekora. Out of play, and a throw-in coming for San Jose. Thompson retreating from the attacking third, backing it up to the center line, and Imperiale. Ewell. Nice floating diagonal finding Cato, but he can't stay with it, and that's going to be cleared away by Taisa. Before it's knocked around the middle third and advanced out there on the left wing. Heineman running it down. He's into the 18. Slows down. Now tries to find Becker on the cross, but that one's going to float to the outside to Gibson. Lined up for the big shot from Cruz. He wanted a handball. He won't get it. We will now get an interesting opportunity for the Deltas. It is going to be Becker over there on the service for the corner. And you can see San Francisco finding their way offensively a bit more as this half has continued. Tarbell, again, playing a couple of steps off his line and just about even between the sticks, maybe a little bit closer to the near post. As we await the service from Becker. A low liner into the box, flicked out. Becker puts it on top. Controlled once again, and a drive from distance. But that's going to be over the end line and back to San Jose. As Garrett was asking about the new president and the DP situation. The DP situation, listen, we've heard Jesse Fiorinelli talk about this a little bit more. When he was first hired, he said that he did not know or did not think that the player they wanted to get was available, and so he was going to be waiting for the summer transfer window. And, I would expect things to be happening, and he talked about it at great length. I believe with Elliot Almond, and I know that Robert Jonas wrote about it as well, so I don't know if this was a group session or what, but he said that, it was going to be an attacking-minded player under the age of 28, as here's a nice ball put forward, and it's going to be drawing a foul is Danny Cruz. But the idea that was put out there that it would be an attacking-minded player under the age of 28, and it wasn't so much about signing a big name as it was signing a player of high quality. And you know what? I've looked at the names that so far Jesse Fiorinelli has brought in, and I've been very excited with the Youngworth, with the Houston, with the Hika. I think the three of them have been simply phenomenal, and I really like what they've added to this San Jose team. I think all of them have individual traits that has allowed San Jose to get better. As Ferreira, Becker, and Taisa get ready for the free kick, it is going to be Becker to set this up. And now Ferreira is going to run into the wall. Try and poach a rebound. Tarbell getting set. Here's Becker with a blast. That's going to deflect off the wall. Looks like Dawkins pushed that out. And Stevens is going to play that to Gibson, who will lob one back into the 18. Tarbell comes sprinting off his line, goes to the air and punches it out of play. And now Stevens with the throw-in, gets it right back, battling for position against Tommy Thompson. And that ball ricocheted off of Thompson and then off of forehead. And it'll be a throw now. Quickly in. Stevens spins on it, can't do much with that. Wondolowski picks it up. He'll play to the inside, gets past one man. Now with a nice long diagonal, he wants to find Houston on the run, but this is going to be over his head and out of play. Esteban asks, any word on injured players, Cummings, Pelosi, Quincy? I've not heard much about Cummings or Pelosi as of late. I know Cummings, the original diagnosis was 4 to 6 months. Nobody, I don't, off the top of my head, don't think they said season ending, but it felt that way. I think they're hoping for an early recovery. Quincy says he's getting closer. I know if you go on his social media, he says he is on the mend, and he's not there yet, but he's getting to be in that direction. And I'm very excited to see what Quincy can do when he comes back, because there's a guy that works hard, He is very, very smart. Even though he's not the tallest guy in the world, he's good in the air. You know, if you've looked at with San Jose recently, some of their substitutions, later in games, and they've needed that offense, they haven't had that depth for injury or whatever other reason. So I think having Quincy back out there and available for San Jose will allow them to do some impressive things. Lima will pick up the trash there and wanted Cato out there on the right wing. Tysa able to handle that. Quick throw in coming for San Francisco. Heineman runs it down, spins away from Dawkins. Out wide on the left-hand side.
Our fourth official
backed up to Tysa. 2 minutes added on.
Of 2 minutes of stoppage time.
Portilla. Portilla gets it back. Stevens drifting towards the center of the pitch. Gives it to Ferreira. Ferreira puts one in, looking for Gibson. Yule was there to interrupt it. That's kept alive. Becker back to Portilla, but it's just behind him. And then Tommy Thompson gets fouled as he takes that one free of the danger zone. Out of play, back to San Jose. With Pelosi, I do know that he's had some operations on that knee now. I don't know what his status is going to be moving forward, but I do know that when he did play for San Jose in 2015, I liked what I saw, and I think a lot of people did as well. So you would hope that he can get back out there and be a factor for San Jose again, but I know with sometimes those chronic injuries, that's not always the case. So we'll see where his career arc takes him. San Jose cannot maintain the possession, turning it over, and nicely brought forward by Becker. He puts one out on the right-hand side. Stevens battling for position with Tommy Thompson. Stevens keeps it alive, but Tommy Thompson's going to get the possession back for San Jose. Imperiale lifting this one for Huson, who gets tangled up with Adekora. And he'll get whistled for the foul. And this is back now to the Deltas. Quickly up to Portilla. Stevens. Jackson. Portilla. And now Ferreira will slow things down. San Francisco looking to break through, but the whistle blow signaling the end.
Yellow card issued to the Earthquakes in the 48th minute to number 15, Andres Imperiale.
Trouble getting it out of their own end. Bernardez is going to play that one back to Tarbell. Imperiale. And then in the vicinity and direction of Huson, but still anyone's ball, as it's just knocked around the middle third. Stevens looking to advance this up the right-hand side. Here's one for Cruz. Lima's going to step in front of that before it gets to him. Jackson trying to win it back. Dawkins gets it up to Wondolowski. And the Earthquakes quiet things down momentarily. Imperiale is going to go for a long ball looking for Huson. That pass is interrupted, and it's taken back by the Deltas now in the 50th minute. And now it's back to Tarbell. And I think we were in and out on audio there for a second. But Garrett says it looks like we're back on. As the Earthquakes look to advance the attack, but it is going to be Tommy Thompson drawing a foul. So now an opportunity for San Jose off a free kick. And Lobina says that I'm back bald and beautiful. So I'm glad you can all hear me once again. As San Jose does get set for a free kick. Huson lining up. Sayus just shaded a bit left of center. Huson with a drive and the save by Sayus. That's going to be out of play unless it can be run down by Jackson, and he does. And now he'll fight for that with Wando. That'll bring in a whistle. And it's back to the Deltas. So as I had said previously when there was perhaps an audio outage, if you want to get in on the conversation, at Ted Ramey Media. It's Tysa. A little unwieldy there with his touch, turns it over. And now it's Dawkins. Getting it out to Thompson. Center to Wondolowski. Sees his pass taken away. And now Becker's trying to get this away from the Earthquakes. Still anyone's ball until San Jose does come back up with it. Now it's up to Huson. He'll look to redirect this to the outside. Wando's going to come in on it. That ball is still loose. Adekora couldn't quite get a handle on it. Here's Tommy Thompson, edge of the 18, running parallel to the top. Puts it to the right-hand side where he's got Cordell Cato. He breaks to his left, can't get the shot out. Step over, fakes left shot, deflected. And that's going to roll out of play for a throw for San Jose. So Cato quickly in. Ewell pressured from behind, gets past a pair of defenders, puts one on top to Dawkins. Dawkins to his left. Now it's Tommy Thompson working to his right. On top, Florian works to his left. Danny Huson into the 18, working to the byline. Looks for the deep cross. That's going to be out of play, and it is going to be a corner for San Jose. So good fight by Huson to give the Earthquakes another opportunity off the set piece as Tommy Thompson goes jogging to the corner arc. Thompson getting set. Imperiale, Wando, Huson, Youngverth looking for the header, punched away by Sayus. But Cato's going to rally this down. Bounced around by Bernardez and Lima, and then before being played back into Earthquakes territory where it's picked up by Imperiale. He'll lob one up towards Wondolowski into the 18. He can't settle it. This is going to be a run down and out of play. Last touched by Tysa and the Deltas. It's a throw for San Jose. Neither Cato nor Lima showing any great hustle to get this ball in. 55th minute. And the Earthquakes will back this up once again and look to reset. They have not been playing it nearly as much direct via the long ball tonight. They've been building from the back, something the team probably has wanted to build on. I know that Dom has. I know at times the Earthquakes have gotten themselves into situations where they have not been able to build from the back and they have had to play direct with the big leg of David Bingham. But I've noticed tonight that that is something they are I don't know if they are being told to outwardly not play it that way, but we have seen nice linking of the chain front to back. As a courtesy kick comes from the Deltas, in light of Florian Youngworth being a little bit shaken up on the play. So Tarbell, the Clemson product, puts it on the deck and gives it a ride. Immediately making me look in the wrong when talking about the Earthquakes building it from the back so much. Sandoval can't control that one, but it's picked up by Stevens. Chipped ahead to Sandoval, back to Stevens. He's going to take this out wide. Right-hand side, attacking third, Jackson. He looks to get past Thompson, but Thompson and Imperiale will handle it. Up to Dawkins. Dawkins back to Thompson. Florian challenged by Becker from behind. Still loose ball, controlled by San Jose. Cleared out to about the center line where Houston's battling for position. He'll get that in the direction of Wondolowski. Becker comes in from behind to challenge, but it's going to be Jackson Ewell drawing a foul. And this will go to San Jose. And Ewell a little slow to get up. They're not calling out the trainer just yet. But it has been fun to watch Jackson Ewell today. Hometown of Bloomington, Minnesota. 6th overall pick in this year's Super Draft. Bruin out of the collegiate ranks. Here's Thompson knifing through defenders, gets taken down, played out wide to Dawkins. Ewell and Dawkins once again. Backed up to the center line, dangerous pass. Lima has to fight to keep it alive, and the Earthquakes turn it over. Here's Danny Cruz breaking his way up on a diagonal to the center of the pitch. Gets tripped up by Bernardez. That'll be a yellow for Bernardez. He immediately puts his hand up to claim. And this will be a very dangerous opportunity for the Deltas. A smart yellow in that instance for Bernardez, but that's not going to make any of the Deltas any happier about it.
The 57th minute to number 5, Victor Bernardez.
And especially as good of a guy as Danny Cruz is, nobody wants to see him go down. If you are a fan of the Earthquakes, if you are a fan of the Deltas, if you are a fan of just individuals, people in general, do yourself a favor at some point. See if you can get a conversation with Danny Cruz. One of the more just pleasant people I've ever had the chance to talk to over my time in sports. Guy just gets it, understands his role as an athlete. He's played at the Major League Soccer level, has represented the U.S. at the U17 and U20 levels. Again, a dude that gets it and a nice guy, and he is very much appreciative of his role in sports as well. But yeah, looks like he's up and doesn't appear too shaken up as Becker gets set for a blast through the wall, and the save by Tarbell off a bounce. That could have been dangerous, squirting through that wall and coming off a bounce, but Tarbell somehow able to see through the noise and catch it cleanly for the save. Lima plays that ball behind Ewell, trips up, can't maintain his footing. It's another turnover. Stevens has it for the Deltas. The Deltas coming on the attack. Becker working it to the right-hand side now, finding Jackson. He's going to keep it himself and knife up the middle of the pitch. He gets taken down. That ball's still loose. And then finally we'll get a whistle in. Sandoval seemed like he himself couldn't believe it. So now we're awaiting the free kick from the Deltas. We've got the El Camino Real Derby, the Derby. Nah, sorry, Lobina, I don't like that one. I like the 101 Derby. That one works for me. Here's a free kick from distance that Tarbell is going to use his big body and grab that out of the air as we do have a man down. 2 men down for the Deltas. The Earthquakes coming on the attack. And Wondolowski going to take it himself and slow things down, aware of the situation. And finally San Jose will kill the play. As Ferreira and and Adekora. The two shaking up on the play. The trainer for the Deltas is out there on the pitch right now. Adekora being tended to here on the near touch line. And everyone just still waiting for this one to get back into play. '60th minute, Quakes leading 2-0. 2 goals in the first 10 minutes. Jackson Ewell with his first professional goal, as well as Cordell Cato. Ewell, Lima, ahead to Wondolowski. Adekora is going to beat him to it. Former teammate of Wondolowski blasting that out of play. It'll be a throw in. Dawkins moving quickly to get it in at the feet of Wondolowski. And Dawkins will bring this back. Lima, fellow rookie Ewell. To the inside, Thompson, Florian Youngberth. Wide on the right-hand side, Cato. Cato towards the corner. And he'll let that go over the byline to set up the corner for San Jose. Smart play by Cato. Looks like we're about to get Patrick Hopkins subbing into this match for the Deltas. As Thompson gets set. Thompson towards the spot. That one's going to be headed clear. Lima's there. He heads it in control of San Jose in the direction of Cordell Cato, but he'll retreat on it and play it all the way back to Tarbell. Tarbell will lob this up on the left-hand side at the feet of Simon Dawkins. Dawkins wants to forward that for Husin, unable to control it. And the Deltas will bring this back in the other direction. Again, the Deltas playing much better after the first 10 minutes of the match, looking to break through. Here's Sandoval. He'll cross, looking back post for a Cruz, but it's going to be Cato. Tried to swing that back around. Overzealous, perhaps. The big tackle comes in on Thompson from Taisa, and he'll get a yellow. Good yellow, nothing cheap about that. He'll come out of the match. Gives a pat to the body of Tommy Thompson, and Patrick Hopkins comes in for the Deltas.
Yellow card issued to the Deltas in the 63rd minute to number 5, Kenny Taisa.
So the free kick coming for San Jose. Cato, he was the one who got the second goal in this game for the Quakes. Regular season, 10 games played so far for Cato, as Bernardez puts this one in the direction of Wondolowski. Well, we're going to get a flag up on that one, and it's back to the Deltas. And Cato was acquired by way of a trade with the Sounders back in 2013. Last year in the Open Cup, Cato started and played a full 90 minutes against the Timbers and 2-0 loss up at Providence Park, as this one slips behind Bernardez, but he recovers to attempt the clearance, but Portilla keeps it in until Wondolowski, with a little help from Dawkins, Youngverth, and then Tommy Thompson. Sayers knocks this out of play. Throw for the Quakes.
Delta substitution, exiting the match number 5, Kenny Taisa. Entering the match number 6, Patrick Hopkins. Substitution in the 63rd minute.
Coming over for the throw for San Jose. Sees Thompson, sees Wondolowski, and goes to the captain. Wando can't maintain the possession, turns it over. Ferreira's going to clear this, but this pinballs around. Back to Thompson, puts that on top, the shot, and it's going to bang off the post, and then it's cleared away. Dawkins thought he had the goal. The post makes the save of the game, and the Earthquakes look to maintain the attack. Here's Dawkins. He wants revenge. left to the 18, in. His pass taken away. Great defensive stop by the Deltas to keep this game at just a 2-goal deficit for them. Up to Becker. On the attack are San Francisco, and Ewell comes in from behind to take that one away. Youngworth plays it back to Tarbell. He's pressured. He'll turn on it and get it clear. Thompson goes to the air. Ferreira's going to head it back into the Earthquakes' end. This is going to ricochet out of play, and it's going to go back to San Jose. Bernardez receives the throw. He's got a bad pass going back to Cordell Cato, out of play and back to the Deltas. Cruz wants to move fast, getting it into Sandoval, who takes it on the roll just left of the 18. He's keeping it, gives it back out to Cruz. He'll look to center it to Portilla. Portilla into Sandoval. Sandoval can't do much there. Back to Becker, a big blast rejected by Imperiale. Adekora. Jackson up to Sandoval. He can't control that ball. It's going to pounce around. And then finally Dawkins, Youngworth, Dawkins once again. And now he's got some room to run. Gets it up to Houston. Houston's got a break to the interior. He gets tackled and taken down from behind. But this one's going to go back to the Deltas. Becker leading the attack. Up to Heineman. He can't stay with it. Bernardez slides to his left, plays it to Lima. And the Earthquakes calm things down, at least momentarily. Advance to Jackson Ewell. Jackson Ewell sees Tommy Thompson out there on the wing floating in space. Thompson can't settle it cleanly, but he's going to run it down. He gets tripped up and tackled and taken down. We'll see if this brings about a yellow. But it will be a San Jose ball. No yellow for Ferreira. Stern talking to. And now a free kick for San Jose here in the 67th minute. Tommy Thompson. Sayas. Couple of steps towards the near post. Not much. Thompson set. Puts one in. Back post header. Houston can't redirect that. Out of play. Goal kick for the Deltas. And Shea Salinas is going to sub into this match for Danny Houston.
Substitution.
So good to see Shea coming back into this. Hasn't played for a while.
Number 9, Danny Houston.
Dealing with a mild knock. And so the speedy Texan makes his way back into action for the Quakes.
Number 6, Shea Salinas.
Now the Salinas clan, whenever the Quakes play in Texas, and Shea is there, as he wasn't this most recent time due to injury, but when Shea is there, they represent in force. As this one's going to be played back to Cato. He'll get it to Tarbell, pressured by Cruz. Doing his best Diego Valeri impression. All the way up to Tommy Thompson. Thompson, dancing, dodging traffic, plays it across to Dawkins and Youngworth. And a foul is going to come in. But as I was saying, as the trainer is apparently being whistled for, and that is going to be a yellow for Becker. Youngworth the man down right now for San Jose. We're getting a look at the
yellow card issued to the Deltas in the 69th minute to number 10,
replay here.
Becker.
And it looks like they are going to call for another substitution. Or at least it looked like they were momentarily. We'll see how Dom decides to play this. While we are waiting for this to be resolved, I will tell you more about the Salinas story. So I'm in Texas. It's the first game of the year for the 2015 campaign. And the hotel we're staying at, it was across the street from a coffee place. And I thought to myself, you know what? I think I'm going to go get a coffee. So I go and get a coffee. As Florian Youngworth is being, well, not helped off, but he's got a hand to his back as he limps off gingerly off the pitch. And Shea Salinas' dad in the parking lot of this hotel. I've never met him before. He only recognized me as someone he may know because I'm wearing an ErathQuakes jacket. Sees me from a distance and he goes, hey, I don't know you. So a very jovial-looking man comes moving towards me at a fast pace, and he goes, hi, I'm Shea Salinas' dad. Yeah, I'm Ted. I do the radio for the ErathQuakes. Very nice to meet you. And ended up talking to Shea's dad for a little bit, but not afraid to make friends, that man was. So now when I see him, I've had the opportunity to buy him a few beers, and I hope to get the opportunity to do so again in the near future. And Salinas are good people. So here's Ewell. Advancing this to Thompson, back to Ewell. Looking for Dawkins in the 18. That one's going to be blasted clear. If we ever do get Thompson and Ewell playing consistently aside each other, or Blonde brothers, something to that effect, that would have to be put in. Thompson offside. Seems like the nicknames in these instances would just write themselves. And we are looking Florian Youngworth, who is running back out onto the turf here. Looks like they are warming up a substitution as one for Cruz is picked off by Cordell Cato just on the edge of the 18. Dawkins. Dangerous play off of Cruz to get that one out of play. And looks like Thomas Janjigian is getting warm on, getting ready to come on for the ErathQuakes, but Youngworth is not coming out just yet. Now he was called up from Reno to add some bodies to this. Of course, Reno, the USL affiliate of the San Jose ErathQuakes. Portilla up to Becker, and they'll turn on this and try and get the counterattack going, but Cruz not able to maintain the continuity there. As this one's batted around, and it'll be flicked back into the attacking third. Becker hearing a chorus of boos now every time he gets a touch. This is going to be played to the right-hand side where it's picked up by Jackson. They'll give this a go, looking for Sandoval. Sandoval, nothing he could do there. That's out of play and back to San Jose. And now checking in is going to be the 25-year-old Andrew Lubon.
Delta's substitution in the 74th minute. Exiting the match, number 25, Danny Cruz. Entering the match, number 27, Andrew Lubon.
He's in for Danny Cruz. Came to San Francisco after a season with Louisville City FC. Appeared in 29 total matches for LCFC, scoring a trio of goals for the USL side. Had quite the collegiate career at Wake Forest.
In the 74th minute. Exiting the match, number 23, Florian Youngworth.
And now Thomas Janjigian subs in for Florian Youngworth.
For your Quakes, number 36,
to UC
Thomas
Irvine.
Janjigian.
Hails from Pleasanton, California. And if he scores, I'm probably going to have to reference a Will Smith song. But he is a defender, and it's his first appearance for the ErathQuakes, so I'll be very surprised if that happens. But I will also be very happy if it does. Here's Simon Dawkins battling to maintain the possession as it makes its way to Nick Lima. Works away from Sandoval, plays it out to the left-hand side where he's got Salinas. Salinas up to Ewell. Ewell had Salinas on the overlap, puts it out in front of the speedy Texan. He runs it down. Salinas working his way in on Jackson. He puts one for Dawkins. Can he get the shot off? Clogged up in the middle. He cannot do so. Still staying with it towards the byline. He's going to work it now to the outside. Pressured from behind. That one's going to be out of play. It'll stay with San Jose. Janjigian out of play. Another throw for San Jose here, 75th minute. 2-0 lead for the Earthquakes. Wondolowski on the edge of the 18. Now dribbling it towards the corner, gives it up, out of play. Earthquakes will turn this over to the Deltas now in the 76th minute. Junjigian went to UC Irvine. Hails from Pleasanton, California. Defender. Went to Amador Valley High School here in the East Bay. As now the Deltas and Becker come in the other direction. Can't maintain it, however, on the possession. It's turned over, and now it's going to be Salinas bringing things back on the left wing for San Jose. Now the center of the pitch, and Tommy Thompson. Working it, Lima, Cordell Cato. Cato retreating, feeling pressure from Stevens. Fighting to keep away from him. Luban coming to keep away from him. Man, it's a whistle and back to San Jose now. Salinas settles this. Junjigian misplayed the read, out of play. San Jose gets to keep it. Throw in, Adekora taking that away from Wondolowski, who was the intended target. But a whistle's going to come in, and this is going to be back to the Deltas now in the 77th minute. Macias, although he is an American citizen, has represented Haiti on the international level. Played in the 2015 2015 Gold Cup, as well as World Cup qualifying campaigns in 2011 and 2016. Started his professional career with the Rapids. He's played for the Atlanta Silverbacks and Minnesota United recently. Becker with it now, back to Portilla. Switch the point of the attack to the left-hand side, and Ferreira. Ferreira, entry pass. Deflected away, and Cordell Cato tries to get it going the other direction. But good physicality by Sandoval is going to keep that one alive for the Deltas. Stevens pushing it ahead. Sandoval, he can't get there. Bernardez, and now this one skied into the circle. Portilla giving a quick flick to his left, but not controlled by the Deltas. And now Cordell Cato pushing things up on the right-hand side. He's on the angle into the 18. He's looking across to Wondolowski. Wondo, it's behind him. And this is going to be taken back up by Jackson. Pressured from Salinas. And Salinas is going to push that out of play. Last touched by the Texan, and it's back to the Deltas. Again, if you have any questions, anything you want to get in on, at Ted Ramey Media. Of course, usually I do this in just the medium of audio on the radio for KMBR 1050, where you can catch all Earthquakes broadcasts. Apparently we are having trouble with the stream again. I do not have any control over that, and I hope it comes back. Portilla puts one back post, looking for Ferreira. He'll head it wide, and it's a goal kick for San Jose. And here come the Earthquakes on the attack. Once again, Chris Wondolowski playing it to his right where he's got Lima. Lima will see his ball intended for Cato out of play. Lima over the top. Not sure if Cato thought that Wondolowski was going to see that played through his legs as Imperiale challenges Heineman. And Heineman's unable to keep up with that and pushes it ahead to Becker. Becker can't trail with it just nicely. And now it's going to be Janjigian who gets that one up to Jackson Ewell. Now Ewell working to keep away from Heineman. Puts him on the deck, and now it's Salinas coming up on the left wing, just skirting a couple of steps off the touchline. Dawkins finds Lima. Cordell Cato. Lima centers that one for Ewell. Ewell ahead to Dawkins. Dawkins puts that out on the left for Shea Salinas. Salinas with the cross. And that's going to be run down by Cordell Cato. Cato can't stay with it, however. He loses it. And it's taken back up by Luban for the Deltas. And he'll advance this up the left wing for the Deltas, trailed by Cato. Ferreira, Portilla. Up to Sandoval. Sandoval back to Portilla behind him. The Deltas looking to break through with a goal. Stevens, center of the pitch, works to his left, finds Ferreira. Ferreira fakes left, goes right, finds Sandoval. Now it's Ferreira once again. Ferreira putting one into the 18. Janjigian and Salinas are going to watch this one all the way over to the far touchline. And Salinas gets this to Wondolowski, who's going to backheel this to Tommy Thompson, who wins the foot race. And it's going to be advanced to Wondolowski, but he'll be well offside. Now it's back in the possession of the Deltas. Advance to Sandoval. Lima's going to step in front of that pass with the help of Tommy Thompson. Plays it back to Tarbell. Luban again pressuring Tarbs. His clearance is going to bounce all the way back into the 18 of the Deltas, where Benada Corey has to play this to Hopkins. And now Hopkins comes sprinting off the top of the 18. Stops on a dime when he sees Shea Salinas. Plays it behind him. Stevens to his left where he's got Portilla. Portilla leading the charge now for the Deltas. He'll throw one out there on that right-hand side for Heineman. Trapped off the chest. Plays it to the byline. Working in on Janjigian. Tries to curl around with the left, looking for the header. The shot, it's wide from Sandoval. Tarbell gives this a ride up the left-hand side, off a couple of bounces. It'll be picked up by Shea Salinas. Salinas working his way in towards the 18. Salinas taking it himself to the byline. Crossed, grabbed off the cross by Sayas. And now it's brought back the other direction now by Jackson, who gets tangled up by Shea Salinas. And immediately it's turned over, but they're going to say that Wondolowski moved a little bit too quick there. And now they're going to give him a yellow. Much to the dismay here of those in attendance at Avaya Stadium.
Yellow card issued to the Earthquakes in the 84th minute to number 8, Chris Wondolowski.
2-0 San Jose right now. 85th minute, the clock is ticking its way into. There's one thrown into the 18, but grabbed out of the air. And Andrew Tarbell just fearless in the air, and he's a big guy. There's no way around it. He stands 6'3". It lists him at only 194 pounds. I'm going to say that that's him being generous to himself. There's no way he only weighs 194 pounds. That dude has big body parts, big legs, big shoulders, big back. He uses it to his advantage. Remember, he was the 8th overall pick in the first round of the 2016 MLS Super Draft by San Jose. And as we were talking about earlier, he did make his professional debut back on August 27th. I guess we should say his MLS debut back on August 27th when the Quakes were in Columbus. Bingham went down with back spasms, and Tarbell did have to come in for the second half, and he made a great save on his former teammate, Adam John. I think that was nominated for Save of the Week, as Tommy Thompson, ditching and driving through traffic, sprinting up the center of the pitch, gets taken down from behind by Adekori, and that will bring about a yellow for sure. And indeed it does. So Thompson was just putting on a clinic, cutting, knifing, bobbing, weaving like a prize fighter. And then Adekori decided he'd had enough of that and took him down. So Salinas, he'll get set with the service here in the 86th minute. And we'll see if he just gives this a ride or if he decides to distribute. It's actually going to be Yule taking it, working it quickly to the left to Salinas. Salinas sees Janjigian on the break, but that pass is going to be somewhat telegraphed and taken away by the Deltas, but not for long, as San Jose does win it back. Up to Wondolowski, leading Cordell Cato right of the 18. Ball loose on the touchline. Good physical box out by Cato, out of play. It'll be a throw-in now for San Jose, and it looks like whatever trouble we were having for the stream has been taken care of. Looks like the stream is back up. It is still 2-0 San Jose here in the 87th minute. Throw in. Wondolowski plays it behind his back. Now he'll take a shot from distance with the left foot. Way too much on it. It's off the LED scoreboard. And it's back to the Deltas off the goal kick. Sayas sees his ball get redirected back into the center circle, taken up by Stevens. Plays it wide to the right-hand side. Jackson marked by Salinas, who does take it away. Janjigian up the touchline, out of play. Ferreira advancing one to Sandoval, immediately breaks to the inside, lays it in front, finding Stevens. Stevens chips this off to the right-hand side. Jackson settles it, puts it up, looking for someone in the air. Tarbell punches it away. Heineman was in the air too. This is going to roll out of the 18 and be run down by Ferreira, who will dish this back to Portilla. Portilla's going to put one back in. Tarbell sees it, punches it clear. Picked back up by Stevens. Stevens about 30 out. He'll drive one back into the 18, left-hand side, headed in front, and he adds Sandoval, but Sandoval couldn't do much with that. Wondolowski's going to pick it up and get taken down from behind by Portilla. And now it's back to San Jose. But again, it's very interesting to watch Tarbell in the air. David Bingham is not, I'm going to say, much less tall by comparison. But the body work of Tarbell, just a bigger frame, and he's not afraid to use it. That's been interesting to watch. The Deltas still searching for their first goal in this match. See an errant pass out of play, and it's back to San Jose here in the 90th minute. Lima with the throw-in. Looking long for Dawkins. Hopkins going to step in front of that one. Sayas has to play it safe. Out of play, a deep throw in for San Jose now. Cato coming over. Dawkins, that one's going to ricochet around. Anyone's ball still. Dawkins able to come up with it. Back to Lima. Deflected out of play. Back to San Jose. Wando, excuse me, I'm reading a tweet from Charles Wolin at the same time, fellow broadcaster. Here's one coming in the other direction. Imperiale is going to run this down and give it back
Our fourth official
to Andrew Tarbell. We'll have 4 minutes added on here at least. Here's Becker, edge of the 18, putting one back post. There's the header and the save by Tarbell. Good positioning, good play there by the Deltas. And Tarbell watched it in the entire way, falls on it. And now punts it long, looking for Shea Salinas. One bounce off his chest, but Adekora is going to come in. Fight it away from Salinas. Slides down with a fall, getting it clear. Still got a couple of balls on the field here right now as the Deltas work it up on the right-hand side. Back to Hopkins, shy of the center circle. Ferreira lobbing one into the danger zone. Headed clear, and Salinas is going to pick this up along the touch line. Out of play. Stays with San Jose. Salinas along that touch line, plays it to himself. He'll run this down, waiting for numbers. Sees Wondolowski, sees Cato. He'll see Cordell Cato, settles it, goes back on top. Tommy Thompson gets tripped up. He was running in for a big shot, but couldn't get it off. And now here come the Deltas in the other direction. Sandoval off the touchline, being marked by Lima, staring at him the entire way. He'll put one on top, looking for Becker. He'll let it play through where he's got Stevens. Stevens, he's going to play this to the right-hand side where he's got Jackson. He'll run it down on Salinas. The cross, Imperiale's there to head it wide. And now Stevens is going to watch this out of play now for the throw-in for the Deltas. Now it's Jackson getting past Salinas. Gets it back to Becker. Can he get the shot off? It's going to be wide. Just wide. I think that might have kissed the post just a little. We'll have to see if we can get a replay. But it will be a corner now for the Deltas. Looks like it was Lima who actually got just a redirection on that. So here's Becker on the service. Put this towards the spot, headed over the byline. Last touched by San Jose. So we'll do it again. Time running out for the Deltas. Trailing 2-0. The ball in from Becker, punched away by Tarbell. Run down. Driven back in towards the arc. Picked up by Jackson. He'll spin on it. Throws one back into the 18. Bernardez gets a header on it first. Cato goes to the air trying to keep it away from Ferreira, but he does maintain the possession. Ferreira chips one in. Into the air and taken off the bounce by Andrew Tarbell. Adekora may have been a little bit shaken up on that play. And the whistle blows, and that's how this one ends on a beautiful Wednesday night here, late spring, early summer by my account.
San Francisco
The San Jose Earthquakes take the 101 Derby 2-0 over the San Francisco Deltas, and they advance in the U.S. Open Cup. Early goals from Jackson Ewell and Cordell Cato, the difference makers here tonight for San Jose. Final score, Earthquakes 2, Deltas 0. I'm Ted Ramey signing off for the San Jose Earthquakes.
If Earthquakes record a shutout during today's game, everyone in attendance will receive a $3 off voucher from SuperCuts.
Okay. Get your $3 off vouchers from SuperCuts. Coupons will be distributed along Earthquakes Way to the left of the main gate, beyond the box office, or to the right of the BMW gate. SuperCuts, clean, sharp, ready.